Welcome to D&D Journey of the 5th edition. Join our various gaming groups as we play the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. And maybe just hang out and chat about gaming in general. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kelly, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, assigned to Ragnarok Story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and rpgpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
There's a series of cargo boxes. We're talking the usual 4 foot by 4 foot wood crates that are nailed together that have a certain symbols that you do recognize.
From my family?
From your family. It's not one that I think Callus would recognize from the tattoos, but because it is a slightly variation on that tattoo mark. But it is one that you recognize for a more, legit use. And oh my god, that Steam Jack. It's one of the church's ones. Steam Jack covered in flamethrowers. Because. And that's if you want to upgrade Gunny to a chassis that cannot fit in any buildings. And will probably not be allowed down city streets.
That's like 3 stories tall. 3 stories tall. Probably about 3.
Can I, without drawing attention, investigate the cases that have my family seal on it?
You cannot. They are right there in view of the 2 guards on each side of the cart. If you were to do more than just walk by, they would definitely take notice to you fondling the boxes. And you definitely have the idea that they would take umbrage to you messing with someone else's cargo.
So as I see her hesitate and kind of look around and shifting, I grab her by the elbow, come on, sister, we need to get back with everybody else.
I'll totally give you an insight check too, because your passive perception will notice that.
Am I doing an insight check?
No, for Callus to
Okay.
see that you're getting interested or wiggy. You're not quite sure.
Yeah, not really good at that one, but
as you're just she stiffened for a moment, but you noticed it, so you're just come, sister.
Let's move along. Our friends are waiting.
The guards are just smiling at you guys.
And I act like I'm going to pick a fight with him, a verbal altercation. No, I have the right to know what is down here with my Steam Jack and my stuff. What is in these containers around here? Is it flammable? I'm going to start putting on my best Theo impersonation that I have very special cargo, and I need to know if those boxes look shifty to me. Is there something flammable in them?
Okay, give me. You're asking you picked this one random group of cargo boxes in a train full of cargo boxes. And gas canisters and liquid sloshing around.
Well, because they're kind of guarding it, aren't they?
Well, no, they're guarding everything. That's their job, is to make sure people don't steal your gunny.
Yeah, I'm giving a general overall, but in particular pointing that direction.
So give me either, because you wanting to know what's in the box.
Yes.
Come on, somebody say it. Give me a
Schrodinger's box.
Give me an intimidation or persuasion at disadvantage, because they're just what? We saw you store your Steam Jack back there. And the one guy just, stands up, and the other guy immediately stands up with him in unison, and he's like, I'm sorry, miss. You don't get to know about anyone's cargo but your cargo, and don't worry, Our jobs are to make sure all cargo gets to where it's going. That's why you've got that nifty little ticket in your hand, Missy. That little ticket tells us whose cargo belongs to who. And he's getting to be that guy.
I'm going to tip him to lean
And
into
these
it more. I'm
strapping
going to
lads
tip him
look quite
4
cute.
gold and tell him to take good care of my cargo.
We'll take the best care of your cargo, Missy. Don't you worry your little nose. You and your brother should go enjoy some of our first, third, and third class status treatments. If you're lucky enough to have a first class ticket, I promise you the food's not to be missed, and the booze is not bad either.
I'm going to go, but as soon as I get to the group, I'm going to let them know that there's something on this train that's evil. Because if my brothers have stamped it, something on this train, we need to stop it.
So,
I was going to say evil besides us.
So Callus, you kind of like get behind her and put the hand on the shoulder blades and push.
Come along.
As you guys look at your train
Yeah,
tickets,
look at
and here's the beautiful sliding door for first class. You've got sleeper bunks on top, benches at the bottom. Your cargo is nicely stashed in there. Your personal luggage. Of course, your weapon had to be put away. It could not be openly carried on the train. I'm assuming you stashed it, even if you're a Mandalorian.
I'll do what I gotta do, but.
Or did you just conceal it and get it on the in a bag?
Well, if I can potentially bag it, case it or something, and bring it, that would be good.
So that it's in your suite with you?
Right.
Okay. As long as
we have a bard with us. You can put yours in a sitar case. So it looks like
Right.
You're part of the band, man.
Exactly.
So the train, you hear the loud whistle that signals last call to get on, and then the train starts building up its steam, and people are hustling to get to the rooms, and of course the ticket man comes and punches your tickets, and basically gives you guys a menu that if you just choose your delicacies and leave that in the little spot outside the door, the food and beverage carts will come by shortly with your choices. And there's like a huge, beautiful international display for the first classers. And he points out.
I'm almost vibrating. I'm so like full of energy and waiting for everybody to leave so I can tell the group.
He totally shows that you've got a little private closet privy, as well as a water, cabinet you open up, and it's got a little water jug, spigot, and some glasses. And he shows you all the things here. The windows can be opened at the top, but that's a safety feature, so no one will fall out of the window if they must. And don't worry, in first class, you're ahead of the big stacks. You don't have to worry about any soot falling in the windows.
Fantastic.
And he points out that there's 2 ropes. The red rope is if there's an emergency and you would like security to come. Every cart has at least 1 security agent on board to make sure all of our guests are kept safe. The second one is for the bellhop to come to see if you need anything. If you have any questions, I am, of course, your train manager. I will be gladly coming by a few times during this trip. I saw from your tickets we'll be taking you to the coast of the Five Fingers, so it will be a very, very enjoyable 6-day trip. And just be aware, we guarantee all of your cargo will be kept safe. Please keep any cargo tickets readily available on your departure. And please don't lose them, because that may be a problem. And we don't want problems.
Neither do we. As I glance over it. Yeah.
And he excuses
Alexa,
himself.
Don't lose your
Sorry,
ticket.
Alexa. Sorry, Alexa, not me. Yeah.
And he asks
keep
you,
saying-
would you like the door locked on the way out?
They keep saying don't lose your ticket.
They totally keep saying don't lose.
I
What
know.
what happens if we find the person who has the tickets for those items. This is just thinking ahead.
As, by the way, the guy goes and
take
closes
those,
the door so you can talk.
And then we claim them. So they can't collect their goods. We can collect them and then destroy whatever it is.
I like it. I'm telling you, knowing my brothers, whatever is in there is probably, we need to stop it. It doesn't need to get off this train.
My family's a pain. Yours is a dick.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
They're monsters for sure.
I mean, you did just leave that like cult headquarters and barely even talk about it with them if you wanted to tell them more.
Nope, I'm good.
Of course.
I already let Callus stitch me up. I mean, that was enough. I had to show him my wounds.
I mean, now Callus has seen that she's seen some shit.
I mean, it doesn't really phase him any. So.
Do we have any idea on how we want to get this cargo?
Is it the last train carriage in the on the train?
Where's the storage at? Is that in the back?
The storage ones are the last 8 train carts. The one with the cargo she wanted was in the first one.
Oh.
The very last one is basically the cheapest storage, but also has the most guards, because that's where their sleeping area is. Gunny, on the plus side, is on the 6th train. Or not Gunny, I should say.
Yes.
Cinder.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that also their stuff is on the 6th train, right?
Uh-huh. No, their stuff is on the first of the storage carts. It was right before you left the storage. You spotted it.
Yeah. I was so planning on a nice, peaceful ride home, get back, chill. Nobody expected a train heist.
I mean, we were going to steal an airship, so I don't think we planned on a smooth ride home, regardless, right?
We have first-class train tickets. I mean, be kind of nice to relax, pamper, eat, chill.
But sure.
Nice or boring. Sometimes boring is okay.
Sometimes.
Because we can always try and maybe, I don't know, I mean, it might be difficult, but we could always blow up that train. But we'd have to get... What? I'm just
now
saying.
You're talking. Yeah, I know. You're just saying. Yeah.
But we don't know what's in there. We know it's bad. Like, it could be my family traffics in children. They traffic in drugs. They traffic in arcane stuff. It could blow up a thing full of kids.
When she just drops that on you, that, oh yeah, my family traffics in children.
Were there air holes? I mean...
I don't know. I couldn't get close. Somebody kept shoving me away.
She was trying to incite the guards.
What, Alexa? No.
Exactly.
Or me, I mean? Sorry.
Yeah.
So, of course, the first day, nothing really happens. You just see the pattern of, when it comes into a train stop, it whistles 3 quick chirps, and then they stop for about 30 minutes. So they shuffle on people in and out, cargo in and out. Sometimes you notice that when you go there, there's hawkers out there selling wares out the windows, trying to get you to open your upper window and stick your hand out with cash so they can give you stuff on sticks. They have big, long, those pretzel sticks That way they could give you local delicacies if you want any fancy foods or wine skins that they can totally sell you if you put the coin in the bucket, then they hand up the wineskin on a stick.
Do you think we could bribe a bellhop?
I mean, they get paid
To
shit.
what?
To just go and tell us what's in the container.
Oh, come on, somebody say it.
Why would a bellhop? No.
No, I mean say it like Brad Pitt.
Oh.
What's in the box?
So, are these tickets transferable to the next train ride?
They are not now that they've been punched.
Darn. Okay. I guess I'm stuck on this one.
Can
the
I
lunatics.
get to the next train, please?
I mean, we don't have to, you guys.
How capable did they appear?
Did who
The
appear? The
guards.
guards? They seemed pretty
Yes.
capable with those blunderbusses. I mean, they don't look like they're schlubs, but they don't look like top crack grade A troopers. I mean, unfortunately, nobody really checked out their kiosks with an investigation check. But I mean,
No.
you can always go back and check on your cargo. Remember, during the train ride, people back in the day in the real world used to go check on their livestock and their cargo. Especially between stops when the cargo doors are open and just anybody's got access to your, steam jack.
Theo, since you're usually pretty good at this kind of stuff, would you go with me to kind of investigate?
Sure. I mean, my investigation's not very high. Well, I do have a 4 in it. I get a +4 to investigation.
That's pretty high.
That's pretty capable.
So yes,
the
I will
next
go
tier
with
is
you.
5.
Okay, so
But I mean minimum. But
and it's great seeing this is the longest y'all have ever seen Theo with both a clean face and not wearing her gas mask. Her hair is coiffed and doesn't look like it's half singed.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys go walking down the aisle, you see, it goes from like 5 or 6 first class carts to.
I'm wearing my clean apron, my backup one from the house.
And y'all feel really good
Nice.
because the laundromat that was used did a great job on your clothes. Everything is darned and cleaned. As you guys go back,
Wearing
you
the
see
dress
the
apron.
6 first class carts that have, everybody's got their shades down so you can't see who's in what rooms because they all want privacy just like you. Then you've got these second class carts, which is basically just people in seats where it's 4 people facing the center with a table that can be brought down and put back up. Then you go to the third class where it's people packed in like nobody's business, where it's 4 people sitting in the space of what second class's 2 people were sitting at, as they got hard wood benches on a bouncing train. Many people have
Very narrow.
Many people have little cushions that they brought, or they like took their coats and folded them up to sit on, so their butts not getting hammered into the wood. And then, you've got the, when you get to luggage, you've got 2 of the train agents that are basically just there and nod at both of you and say, "Are you checking your cargo?" And they gladly, for 2 ladies, will open the doors.
Yes, please.
And thankfully, this train has the measure of modernicity that when you open doors between train carts, it's actually got a little tube between cars, so you don't get exposed to the outside jumping between, cart to cart.
Oh, okay.
So it's nice and safe.
It's got
Safe
the
is
accordion.
word. And you go back, and of course, as soon as Mia gets there, the first guard, you recognize the guard that you talked to is the same one on duty, but the other guard is different. Obviously, they're swapping out. And he totally tips his little hat to you and says, "Glad to see you still on the train, ma'am. Have you been enjoying the accommodations?"
he talking to me or Theo?
Mia.
Well, you're
I'm
the
just
last
gonna-
one to go back there.
He recognizes
Okay.
you from last time.
Oh,
Yes, I have, and I let Theo start talking over me.
The accommodations are quite satisfactory.
Who's your lovely friend there, miss? Are you coming to check on your steam Jackie over there?
Yes, and I just kind of feign like I kind of feign like I'm flirting a little bit, and I'm a little bit like bashful.
Ooh, give me a persuasion check. He sees your awkward flirtiness and he gives you a curt smile.
Like, I'm gonna, of course, picking up on that. It's like, hold it. Are you using your regular name?
Sure,
I'm like, no names.
it's
are
not really my
discussed
name
yet.
anyway.
It's too soon in the relationship for names.
It's like, Lexi, you were so right. He is charming.
Is Mia using Lexi as her identity?
Is that Mia?
Sure.
I'm sorry. I clicked.
Today is the
I
day
saw
that
the
everyone
either
is
way,
calling
doesn't
you out of character.
Well, no, it's like I just looked at your picture and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. So, yeah, you're so right. You were right. He is kind of charming.
Ooh.
I know, right? And I just kind of do the up, look down, look again, smile.
As he
The tried but true
he
flirt.
totally, blushes a little, and with your mighty 11, totally lifts his hand up and points to the finger indicating this is a wedding ring on his hand. But my friend Johnson over there is single. As he just tips his cap at you that, oh, it's cute, these girls are flirting with me.
So how far away is this Johnson? Oh, so Johnson is right next to him. He just replaced the other guy.
He's basically on the opposite. Their little kiosks are on each side of the train cart, so he's like 10 feet away.
Is he a young man? Is he an older man?
He's definitely a younger guy. He's like a human in his 20s. Bushy, dark hair, completely perfectly shaved, as opposed to his partner who's got a mustache.
Let's see here.
And Johnson just smirks and gives his boss the look like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Well, I'm 13. Charisma isn't that, is above
you
average.
guys are not, schlubs. And you're all
Mine's a 14.
You're all wearing
pretty
clean clothes, and you've been
See the giggle.
You've actually used real soap instead of potash.
Yeah, and for once I don't smell like sulfur.
And I start asking like, God, it's horrible, but like the basic girl questions like, oh, are you an officer? You're so heroic, da 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 da, that kind of stuff. Like really talking him up and flirting my ass off with Johnson.
And Johnson stands up and kind of presses his uniform, that's kind of armor and uniform, and he says, we're deputized agents of the rail agency. My superior here has put many years into the job, and he can attest that we have never allowed a single piece of our cargo on the 419 to be stolen. We are duty bound to make sure our clients, which are every man, woman, and child on this train, receive the proper trust and respect as if they were living in their own homes. Not entitled to the safety and serenity of their hearts, souls, and property to not be molested, taken, broken, damaged, or incurred any hardship. I'm not sure if you're aware, but your claim ticket does remind you that all cargo on the 419 is insured. So if anything were to ever happen, and I promise you, ladies, and he totally puffs up his shirt, I would never allow anything to come to your steam jack back there. That beautiful piece of arcane technology is due the proper respect as any person or other piece of property under my protection. You pretty lady should not stress this. And I understand if you want to come between stops to check on your property, and I relish the chance to possibly meet you again. And he beams a big smile with pink cheeks. But you may have to come back and see it if you don't want to, if you'd like to enjoy your accommodations. But if you happen to come past the food carts, my boys and I would always appreciate a little extra victuals if you wouldn't mind. And he kind of smiles as he sits down finishing his little presentation.
I'm like, oh, and just acting like I'm so enthralled and about to like swoon from the heroic nonsense he's just told me.
Oh. And what is Theo doing before I ask for that persuasion roll?
So how does it work? I mean, so what happens if I forget my ticket? Or if I lose it? Oh my god!
Oh, miss, you would not want to lose your ticket, because unfortunately if you lose your claim ticket, we have no honest proof of the property. So the train company will, and of course they guarantee everyone's safe arrival of their products. They will have to immediately seize the property at the next station that you claim to have owned it, and we will have to go through the entire cart in a rather rushed motion, asking if anyone has the claim ticket with that number that matches it. And upon finding out no one on the train has the ticket in their possession, we would have to relinquish the property to the station agents, and they would secure your property in a cargo warehouse under guard until we can call the actual station that you boarded on and confirm your identity, either by the purchaser of the ticket's identification, or if we could get a good description from the station agent if you met them in person when you purchased your tickets. There's a special code they use when they purchase tickets of what the person looks like. And if you go through a purchasing agent, your purchasing agents would have a copy of the time, place, location, and number of the purchase of the cargo for this. I'm sure your ladies remember when you purchased your tickets, they asked how much cargo mass you were requiring, and that can also be used to help with your identification. On previous
I didn't buy the tickets myself. I had a servant do that.
Oh, then that would be a purchasing agent, and your servant would be asked the questions. No doubt, a fine lady as yourself had a staff member go to one of the purchasing agencies in your neighborhood to deliver the tickets, sort of like a telegram.
Oh, they must have gone quite a way. I don't think there's any purchasing agents in my neighborhood. There are too many mansions for that.
And he kind of blushes and looks at his
blink.
Looks at his superior, and his superior just shakes his head, like, "Oh no, don't embarrass me, kid." And he just beams a smile. So, Mia, give me that persuasion roll with advantage. As
I'm stealing your ticket to scare. Oh,
I'll
I
have
said that
to
out
tip
loud.
I'll have to tip him a little more, considering how far he must have had to gone to get these tickets. Oh my!
As this guard is totally beaming a blush, and his superior totally tips his hat to cover his eyes, and is rubbing an itchy cheek to hide the smile he's got where you're embarrassing this guy. As he totally gets up and says, "Ladies, I must dismiss myself for a second, but my young colleague here will answer any of your questions as I relieve myself with a replacement." And he gets up and he totally has his blunderbuss, and he puts it in the crook of his armpit, that casual grip, like you see most hunters do. And he totally picks up the little trudgeon he had there, and he starts flicking it Bobby style, where you flick it on the handle. So it makes a nice little cool motion as he says, "Please, mind your mind. and goes walking down past the things. And he totally is like tapping the occasional cargo container or tugging a strap with his trudgeon just to make sure everything is secure. And he knocks on the doors, and there's a security agent between the cars that opens them for him to come through. So you have a moment where it's just with Johnson.
Doesn't it make you wonder, like, all of this stuff, like, I know my steam jack has so many stories to tell, and he's just a steam jack, but doesn't it make you wonder, like, what's in all of these interesting crates and what kind of lives these people live? Like, you put your life on the line for all of this stuff. Don't you ever wonder what's in this stuff? Aren't you ever curious?
Oh,
What's it all about?
me and the boys are curious all the time. I mean, sometimes it's life-saving medicines that if it wasn't for our duty of getting them straight there, people could die. I remember a few years ago after the calamity, remember when the demons came and did the foulness, that we delivered life-saving food to some of the outcropping areas that lost many of their food-producing people, and the peoples were starving, so we brought fresh meat. We even have one trip we took where we brought livestock. We had, pardon the language, but we had ankle-deep shite on 3 cargo containers. It took over a month for the mages to get the clean smell back in the carts. And he like sniffs. He's like,
Goodness.
"Do you smell that pine scent? It's done with magic."
Wow. So how do you, let's say something happened and you're only able to save one thing on this container. How do you decide what you save?
Well, we wouldn't have to worry about that. Unfortunately, the casters that are the engineers on the train here have many magical ways of protecting us in case of calamities such as fire or a train derailment or even if, say, a bloody dragon decided to attack. I've seen that happen before. We have we have sufficient protections if necessary. If needed, there's also a steam jack protector on the train here.
But what if bandits attack?
We would
Pirates?
we would be safe. There would be no pirates on the land. And he kind of smiles at that like, silly lady, you think there's pirates on the land. And we have sufficient security that you wouldn't need to worry about any bandits doing anything strange. And most of the train's agents, we always, and since you guys have persuaded him to tell little secrets out of class, he says, often in second and third class, we have a train agent disguised as a passenger there to observe trouble.
That's so smart.
TSA.
And usually
Diabolically clever.
usually they have a way to signal in case there's a problem, so security can circle the wagons, so to speak, to make sure that no problems bother anyone else on the train, because our duty is to make sure that you have a safe and enjoyable time. These lands, ever since the wars ended and the calamity made everyone come to peace, still are dangerous with beast men. I mean, I once saw those vicious boar people. They had this massive creature the size of a building. It looked like a giant crocodile creature. And on one of the...
Did you die?
Miss, I thought I could have died of fright, but I made it through because I was just a boy at the time when it happened. But I discovered that on that train,
So brave.
the train agents had weapons mounted on the outside of the train that you only if you knew where they were that they were there. And they shot this beast with their magic weapons.
So, by the way, while this is all going on, when they left together, Callus kicked back, kicked his feet up, and is in a light nap,
Waiting for the trouble.
recharging his energies, waiting for the sound of the shenanigans to start.
And of course, Right on clockwork.
Must be recharged when they blow everything up.
Food has been brought to you guys, and your water bottles changed in your water cabinet. As you know, the changing of the guard happens, where the new guard takes his captain's place and nods to Johnson, and Johnson nods back and says, "These lovely ladies were asking about our security on the train, and wanting to make sure that their lovely steamjack back in Old Six is safe."
And that maybe you're safe too.
And he blushes at that, and the guy's just like, "Oh my God, whatever."
Have you ever had to defend a train from bandits?
And the new guy, looks at Johnson and says, "Johnson's fairly new here, but my old darling here," and he whips out his blunderbuss, and you see it's got like 20 notches carved into it. "I've taken care of my fair share of pinch pockets and bandits.
Oh my.
Normally down in the
so
south we don't have to
big.
deal with such problems, but to the north, that's where you run into the real problems.
Why?
We once had a wyvern trying to either mate or eat the rear compartment. Had to have 3 of us climb up on deck," and he points to the ceiling, and you see now that he points it out, the access hatches for climbing up to the ceiling. There's a convenient little ladder that's almost like a fire escape ladder that retracts back to the ceiling, but if you jump up and grab its little rope, you can pull it down. And then when you let go, it springs back up out of the way.
Well, isn't that clever?
5 of us boys had to climb up there in the snow and attack this winter wyvern. Took 20 shots to drive it off, and hopefully it died of its wounds. I didn't give it a notch, because without a confirmed kill, I don't get a bonus. But don't you little lasses worry yourself. You're absolutely safe. And
You're so brave.
you said you have a steamjack back in old Stowage 6?
Yes.
I bet you it's that beautiful, shiny one with no dents. Me and some of the boys appreciated it. It's pristineness that we did.
Yeah,
Thank you.
got it
I like
mixed
to
up.
take good care of her.
You're looking at the wrong one.
So rude.
I'm not there, so.
He's having dreams of them schmoozing the guards back there. So Johnson and I,
nightmares of ship blowing up.
Johnson and I are expecting the trainmen to come walking by here on inspection soon at the top of the hour. You lasses should move about and continue on your business, and possibly go back to the food
Do y'all
cart.
have lunch anytime soon? We might be so inclined to bring you lunch to tell you thank you for sharing your tales with us and taking such good care of my steamjack. She does mean a lot to me.
Brave.
And he just kind of
And heroes.
smiles at that, and just says, "That might be appreciated. Anything you can do for us, boys. We work hard for our coin." And I'm sure
Okay.
Johnson's here gone on and on about how well he'll protect every one of your belongings. And he totally gives Johnson like a
I
look.
do hope so.
And Johnson just blushes even more. And as you walk by, are you doing anything by those crates?
I'm going to pretend to like trip a little bit and maybe fall onto it and see if I can, tell anything about it.
So first off, what's your passive perception?
It's not as high as Callus's. It's a 12.
It's a 12? So you do know out of the, looks like 6 crates that you saw that had the mark, 2 are already missing, and you have done 4 stops already. So you're not sure where they may have been unloaded. But 2 of the 6 crates are now missing, so you're down to 4 crates.
Okay. Can I easily like pretend like I'm a little off kiltered from being around such heroic men and the sway of the train, and I just happen to stumble over and touch one and see
Swooning.
if I can tell anything?
Okay.
You're swooning.
So
Yes.
first, give me a deception check for your swoon. And I'll totally let either one of you do that check
Oh,
with
well, shoot.
advantage if you want to work together. And then the other person I'm going to want to investigate from. I'll let
I
you
should have done the investigation.
I'll let you
but
guys
that's okay.
tag team. So
I'll investigate.
Mia totally pulled
Okay, you got
the
this.
deception
Oh, yeah,
with Theo grabbing her, steadying her arm, and of course both the guys like bolt to their feet to like almost come to rescue you, but their stupid little kiosk desks kind of block them from immediately helping. But they're glad that Theo catches you in time. As they totally are like nothing but concerned looking at you, ignoring your intentions completely. As Theo investigates the 4 remaining crates. And in her Theo way, she looks at the wood and looks for any like seepage in the crate or water stains in the crate, labels on the
Smell,
crate,
aroma.
stamps from the different places it's gone through. The smell. All of a sudden, when she leans, she totally put your shoulder into the crate to brace Mia and pick her back up. And you smell the wood. You smell this fresh milled pine wood for the boxes, which totally takes. And you look at these stamps where this has gone from. This crate has come from the north. It's been on the train a total of 2 months, according to the stamp that you see when it was put on the train. Which is interesting. I mean, sometimes people put cargo on the train and they go a couple loops, but it is interesting that this cargo's been sitting on the train, and you're getting some kind of the closest box to you with a 23 to investigate. You're definitely getting a pharmaceutical smell, like as much as you can pick up is there's some kind of drug. But with a 23, I got to give you more. So I'll say, as you grabbed Mia when she tripped, at the bottom of the closest crate, because now that 2 crates have been moved out of its way, there's a little seepage at the seams of the wood. Are you gonna take a hanky and dab the seepage to get a sample?
Yes.
So immediately when you grab Mia, you whip out your hanky and you swipe your hanky on the residue to get a copy of it, and then you crumble up the hanky to protect the sample.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I'm like,
And you notice
Oh,
each one
so
of these
sorry.
crates have a different claim ticket number on them. And
they have different.
they have different claim ticket numbers for each of the crates. These 4x4 crates. And you do hear on one of the crates deeper in, because the way they're stacked, it's literally one on the ground against the wall, one on top of it, and one in front of it. One of the 2 against the wall, you hear some kind of ticking mechanical sound when it rattles,
Oh.
as if there's like
So they've been on this train for an extended period of time, and one of them is ticking.
or has a mechanical clinky sound when the train rattles. It could just be loose mechanical parts clinking together, but it's
Not if it's ticking would be very distinct.
yeah. It's not like a clock, perfect, concise ticking. It's only when the train rattles, it clacks and ticks. Like maybe something mechanical shifting.
Interesting.
Oh, maybe I haven't had enough to eat today. I'm so sorry.
And when you say that, Johnson looks at his partner and nods, and he lifts the little desk. It's almost like the bars where you have the little countertop you lift up. That's the walkway. He lifts up his and immediately comes over and hands you a little bag of nuts that he had in his pocket, and he says, "Madam, please eat some of these so you don't pass out. We wouldn't want you passing out on the moving train. That's very dangerous." And he's giving you his midday
Very
snack.
true.
And as soon as you take it from him, he rushes back to his post to make sure to not be, not at his post. And he says, my dear ladies, you should go check on your steam jack and get back to your cabin before we get inspected, just to make sure we don't get chastised for flirting with the passengers. And he smiles when he says that.
I give a big smile to Derek, and I turn to walk to go see Cinder.
You guys go back and everything looks fine. It looks like in the stops that you guys have had, cargo's been put on, cargo's been taken off, but it doesn't look like anyone has messed with your steam jack.
Okay. I kind of whispered to Theo, do you think Boom might be able to or do you think we could locate the tickets? I like where your mind's going with that.
And does anyone want to do an investigation to make sure nobody's messed with Cinder?
Yes.
I can only tell you what you see at a casual glance, unless you really want to look. Someone's got to go wiggle the straps, right? With an 8, everything's fine. Cinder's untouched.
No. Okay. Well, she's insured at least.
I mean, wouldn't she say something if she were messed with?
She's turned off.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, no running steam jacks in the cargo area. Flaming
Don't blame 'em.
steam
I'm just going to
on a train.
I'm going to peek inside and just make sure she still looks like all of her parts are still there and close her back
Yeah,
up.
she looks absolutely fine.
Okay.
Nothing wrong. Everything.
And I just kind of rub gently on her and I say, "It's okay, Gunny.
Oh.
We'll be home soon." Too late.
Okay, so you guys head back to the cart. We get a little train montage. Things are going good. Food's coming by. The train's passing the countryside. No big deals are happening. The train agent comes every so often. Are you visiting on your steam jack at any of the other stops? As you've made 4 more stops with no problems whatsoever.
What do we want to do, guys? We let them know how 2 crates have already been taken off and what we kind of found out.
They're drugs.
Does Theo want to test the sample to find out what it is?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Go ahead and as she whips out her mini alchemy kit on the train, and totally is not going to try to stink up your compartment. Give me a alchemy roll there.
So
It's going to be proficiency with the alchemy kit.
explosive. There's that.
Down below passive perception.
Okay, yeah. All right. I thought it's yeah. So here we go.
Your field alchemist kit. I mean, what's the worst that happens? You roll a 1 and
sorry.
blows up.
Okay. No, I'm like I clicked it, but nothing happened. But it's because
Great.
I have to select the input value.
Yep. Which stat are you going to use? Which is probably going to be intel.
Woohoo!
As a 16 comes up, this definitely, you do the first test and you're like, okay, it's not explosives. It is a chemical. And then you do the next quick little test there. And she's, of course, using her performance to cocktail that shit up, throwing bottles in the air and catching them and squirting them in there. as you discover that it is a kind of opioid style drug, a painkiller or a poison. Most likely painkiller is what you're getting with that 16. Is that crate specifically was full of poison or drugs, depending on how you look at it.
Or quantity taken.
Little bit'll take the pain away. A whole bunch will take all the pain away.
Yeah. I just kind of roll my head over a little bit and just kind of go back to a light sleep.
Hey, Boom, you don't have the ability to locate an object, do you?
No, I don't have that one.
Darn.
Okay.
But I think that's
Okay.
because I didn't do my spells when I leveled.
Uh-oh.
No, I don't have the ability to locate an object, though.
Okay. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
He's like, the only object
But,
I can
It's
locate
okay.
is the
I don't
ship
have it
that I
either.
want. As you guys, totally get a knock on the door. Do you guys open your door?
We bought
Yes.
at the office.
As there's a pair of passengers at the door. Young lady and young gentleman. They look to be dressed middle class. Both of them seem to have headgear on, hats, but you clearly notice they have Iosan features. As
Oh.
who's gonna answer the door and open it?
I'll answer.
I can open the door. Oh, you got it? Okay.
I'm like, hello.
As you open the door and the one gentleman takes his cap off, clearly showing his nice Iosan ears, and he says, "Hello, this is my new bride. Yes, we heard there was a pair of Iosan brother and sister up in first class here, and we wanted to see if perhaps you'd like to have dinner with us tonight. We've just come from the north, and we're looking to maybe have some new friends on the train here and see where you're going."
Buddy, you picked the wrong pair, but sure. I don't say that, but I'm thinking that, like, God, we're the worst friends to make.
I'm like, well, let me inquire. Oh, Mia.
As it's like a little 10 by 15-foot cabin, so you just look behind you.
My.
So they basically are inviting Callus and Mia out to dinner at the dinner cart.
I mean, because
Sure, we would love
think
to.
about it. Perhaps the tickets.
We would love to.
It'll do you good to get out, Callus. You've been cooped up in this room the whole trip.
Did you maybe think that whoever's involved with your family that's on the train might be there and see you? Just saying.
Knowing my family, they knew I was on this train as soon as I got on it. So it wouldn't be a surprise.
So it's likely a trap then.
Or just a nice
Well, I
couple.
only invite you to the best places.
A nice couple's just inviting you to go to dinner.
It's just dinner. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, she's been prancing around, tampering with boxes. And,
I like how dabbing it with a hanky is now tampering with the boxes. So do you guys go off to have dinner with them?
You know you want to.
I suppose I got to keep her out of trouble.
So of course, these honeymooner kids are quite happy to see you guys. And they want to know all about your travels and where you have been and where you would recommend some Iosan honeymooners that have not been back in the old country since they were wee little ones, thanks to life. Where they should settle down because they're looking for a place to settle down. And feel free to give me an insight check, either of you, if you want. Because Lord knows their insight checks suck. So you can
don't
say
want me to
whatever
insight.
you want.
Well, yours is probably better than my -1.
That's what I have too.
Who knew? Apparently,
okay.
Iosans have bad insight. It's a
All right, well, fine then.
Hey, we beat it.
Hey, you believe everything they say. So you guys have this great dinner. He actually busts out a bottle of Iosan wine that's over 200 years old that his father gave to him on the wedding. And he was saving this for a nice event. And meeting you guys is like the shit. And he's just like, I wish my brother and sister were still with us just to be on this train ride, but unfortunately during the culling they didn't make it. And my parents were lucky enough to have 3 children in their lifetime. And he pours.
We're so moved by this gesture.
He pours the last
Yes.
of the wine to you guys and has one final toast to those who did not survive
Yes.
the culling.
Yes, the war was quite rough.
And to all of us lost Iosan children finding our way home someday. And so where is it you guys suggest these kids should go, by the way?
Can I tell if they're I assume they're wealthy. They're on Theo's level of money.
No. They just seems like they were given expensive tickets for a wedding present.
I would tell them somewhere that I think they would be safe. I definitely wouldn't tell them necessarily somewhere in the Five Fingers.
And they're like, the Five Fingers? That's a place of nothing but scummy pirates and villainous cutthroats.
Yeah, no, I would tell them someplace that I'd heard of, that I'd heard Theo maybe talk about, that like they have a country, she has like a country villa or something where they kind of go slumming it. But it would be nice and upscale for these people.
Oh, that sounds lovely, because we really do.
You know, where my parents have the Winter Palace.
We really do want to
Or the
find a
Winter
place
House.
that's safe and stable in this world that is so unsafe and unstable.
May you have many children.
Oh, and they of course blush. And you guys have this beautiful dinner where you clink glasses at the very end with the crappy wine from the railroad, but it's still good wine. It's just not as great as that shit you just had. You tasted back home. A home you never known. Exactly.
I try to, like, as I'm drinking it, I'd like dab my mouth a little bit with the napkin and try to get like a little bit on there and kind of stow the napkin to see maybe if I can get Theo to synthesize it later on.
I want you to bootleg some Elven wine.
Or determine if it's poisoned and we need an antidote really fast.
Yeah.
Are we going to die? Obviously, you dabbed the napkin and did not open the napkin. For in the napkin it says you have been poisoned.
Right.
That's fair.
So you guys basically get back to the train car. They go back to they've got second class good seats, and they basically cuddle up together under a blanket and say goodnight to you guys. And at the next stop, if you'd like to have dinner again, just let us know. We're looking to meet every Iosan on this train. There's only about 6 of us that we've met, including, and she gestures to the 4 of you.
And who were the others that you met?
Oh, there's 2 Iosan gentlemen back in 3rd class. They were very.
What do they look like?
Definitely of the older variety, not of our age.
JLLs.
As you know, but they were rather stoic. We invited them to the dinner cart for a lunch, and they were very silent the whole time.
That's so strange. Most Iosan are so friendly. Did they happen to have any
Did
tattoos
you read
or
the
anything on
description
them?
of Iosans?
Shh. I am trying to be stealthy.
Stealthy.
They're basically emo elves. Come on.
They're posh.
And with these two being so nice, and it's like
I know.
weird.
That's why I'm assuming, trying to act like everyone should be like that. Those other people were strange.
And they bid good evening to you, and there's a stop coming up in an hour. As you guys, are you going back to your first class? Sweet.
Yes.
As you guys,
Do we want to go check on Cinder with your passive perception? Make sure she's okay.
someone's paranoid with low roll.
Sure.
Well, and we
Yes.
finally
Great.
they finally got Callus out of the cabin, so they might as well make use of him.
Wow. I went back with her the first time.
Remember the brother pushing the sister?
You mean when we got on the train?
Yep. So you guys are going
Yes.
back, and like everybody's got curtains down, and they're especially in third class, everyone's trying to sleep, but clinging to their belongings, or they have like belongings tied to their legs so they don't disappear if there's any thieves on the train.
Oh, the smart people on the train.
And as you're going through third class, is there anything with that passive perception you're looking for?
Well, I'm watching for other Iosans that might be back there.
Okay.
Yes.
So you totally, right off the bat, when you hit third class, you catch both of them are on the same cart. It's the last third class train cart. And one is at the front of the train against the window on the basically, if you're in the back of the train looking forward on the right hand side. And the other one is on the complete opposite end of the train, same setup where he's sitting towards the window.
And
And
what kind of people do they look
with your
like?
passive perception, they do look rough and tumble. And their
Right back.
their outfits definitely look like their armor, not meant to look like armor. So we're talking like studded leather. You know, it's not meant to look like heavy duty armor, but it's definitely armor.
Of course.
And your passive perception is what?
17.
Oof. And with your passive perception, you definitely make out that they've got a couple blades on them, probably of the dagger and short sword variety.
Of course, they're not just your average Joe Blow sitting back here.
And they've artistically stashed them. Like the one guy you notice must have propped his feet up on his gear bag, and you totally see that on his ankle there's, you know, a tip of a blade that's strapped to his knee. You know, the tip of the scabbard sticks out of his sock. And you continue
Yes.
past the second one, and it's pretty much the same, that he's got bladed weapons on him. And they both have pretty big rucksacks, so who knows what's in the rucksacks.
Shenanigans.
You guys head back to Cinder.
Yeah, and once we're well out of their range, I mention them to her.
As Mia gives you the You go back into the stowage area, and you find out that the two guards that are there, you have no clue who they are. They're totally new faces. I mean, they have 8 different guards, so it's bound to happen.
Okay.
Are you guys heading back there? You guys
Yeah, we're gonna go check.
I'm following her.
head back to Cinder, and you know Cinder looks fine. Passive perception says everything looks good with Cinder. Nobody's like Peter or anything like that. But with your passive perception, you keenly hear the chirp, chirp, chirp of the horn. letting you know that you're pulling into a train station now. And the train starts to slow its clink clink, and you hear the air brakes kind of squeal on the tail end, and you feel like a draggy tug motion of the train hole kind of, it doesn't lurch, but you just feel like that oomph of it dragging an anchor, so to speak, which in this case is the brake. And
Leaning up against the box to
you guys
keep myself
stabilize. Steady. Both of you give me a dex saving throw as it kind of gets
Really?
a little more lurchy. I just need a 10.
Oof.
So
How about that?
So
Oh!
Mia with a natural 1.
Mm.
So Mia, totally hits the ground and takes 5 points of damage from the lurch was a lot more than you thought it was. And one of the guards in this cart asks if he shouts from his little kiosk, "Are you okay over there?" As you banged into Cinder.
Yeah.
No, I'm wounded. I need help.
I help her up.
I'm going to milk it for all it's worth. I'm going to act like my ankle is twisted or broken.
Ooh, and the guard will immediately, he kind of wavingly says, "Mind your step, grab onto something." As, it doesn't lurch, but it's just repetitive drag feel. And it hits you just the wrong moment that you banged into Gunny, then fell on your knees, and the guard comes over and totally will help you up and kind of grabs Gunny's straps and kind of pulls you into the strap to hold on to it. As you just realize you biffed your knees pretty good. And he says, "Sometimes the cargo section gets a little whippity when they put on the brakes in the rear as we come into the station. Just hold on here. We'll be stopping shortly. It'll probably be about another quarter mile. And then you can get back to your station unless this is your stop." And it is most definitely not your stop.
No, this isn't my stop. But thank you.
Okay. And
do you have somewhere nearby I could sit down for a minute?
and he kind of looks around at some of the cargo and totally sees a couple boxes that are small, and he whips out a hanky and puts the hanky square on the box and gestures for you to sit and hold on to the strap that's above the box.
Okay. I just need a minute. Just give me a minute to sit.
Take all the time
get
you'll
myself
need.
back
You'll be
together.
here for at least a half an hour. There may be some folks coming in, unloading and offloading some cargo, so just please mind the motion and let them get in and go without interrupting their business, because we have a schedule to keep to.
Indeed.
And as the train totally comes to a stop, and you hear this air hiss sound, and it's not from the brakes, but it's actually from the hydraulic doors that start all sliding open, as there's a couple train station agents that peek their head in and ask for, if there's any offload, and the guard that sat you down totally says there's nothing offloading on this station, but I think stowage 1, 2, and 3 have something here. And he's like, "Rightio, not my job to do. I'll just stay here and talk with you." And as you guys are just gonna stay there while things are happening, or are you gonna head back to your room?
I'm gonna look at Callus and say, and Iosan, help me back to our room.
I will assist her up.
And she feigns the ankle.
And I'm going to fake my way until I get to the first cargo, and then I'm going to succumb to the painfulness and need to sit down again.
Okay, and while you do that, you definitely notice that another one of the boxes, the one that Theo diagnosed as got chemical drugs, that one has been offloaded at this stop.
Do I see who offloads it?
Looks like some regular workers, but there is an Iosan with the claim ticket, one of the guys that you saw in the stowage. He totally is leaning down at the open door of the cart, and he hands his claim ticket to the train agent, and then has the train agent hand it to two humans dressed in armor that looks a little reminiscent to the armor you guys saw in that underground headquarters. And they basically take ownership of the cargo. And he kind of...
Yeah, it's one of the guys from part 3.
In third class, yeah. And
or third class, I mean, yeah.
Are you attempting to conceal yourself as you're sitting on the box out in the open?
Yes.
Okay. Apparently he rolled a
hold you.
natural 1, so this guy totally is oblivious to you with his collar popped up. And, you know, he's just not wanting to be seen, so he's not seeing anybody. You know how that works. And
Yep.
I whisper to Callus and Iosan, do your fingers feel sticky today?
It depends if we're stealing a chassis or
A ticket? A ticket?
Uh-huh. Let's see. If he has more tickets.
Are you going to abandon your crippled sister and go pick a pocket?
As one should.
Sure, why not jump into the mayhem?
Okay, so you get up as he's heading back to his seat, and there's a convenient choke point for a bump and tangle to happen. Give me your
Bump and
sleight
tug.
of hand. This is where you roll a natural 20, man.
Yeah, well.
Especially since he rolled a 1 for his perception.
Yeah. All right.
He's just happy to have one less cargo container on the train.
Does he get advantage since it's my birthday?
Oh, birthday weekend call.
Wow.
I will give you advantage for that. She's cashing in her birthday advantage.
Wow. He's playing the
Yay.
birthday card.
Yep.
Oh my
So
god.
Didn't even need it.
So do me a favor, roll me a d4.
How many items I...
Yeah.
3. Come on, 3.
You get
Yes.
all 3 of his claim tickets and a little purse that had... That was a lame roll. Wow. Oh, that was not the correct roll. So the purse has got, when you finally get a chance to look at it, 7 silver and 17 gold. Funny how the single dice rolls way better. And all 3 of his claim tickets.
17 gold. I finally make some money.
Yep.
All right.
As are you guys heading back to your cart? Because the security guard definitely says you should probably get back to your location before the train takes off again.
As quickly as I can wobble
Yes.
my way, I go.
You hobble your way in there. You get back and you hear the train give its last loud whistle that it's about to depart. And you hear the steam build up on those automatic doors getting ready to close. You guys are given some cocktails to keep you busy during, the boarding and unboarding. And just as cargo cart 6's doors slide shut, we see the camera pan down the train. It goes from your cart all the way down to where Cinder is. And next to Cinder, in his elbow socket, we see a little claim ticket that got stuck when someone fell against Cinder. And as the door's closing, the breeze catches it and the claim ticket flies out the door. As the door goes,
Shut your mouth, Jim.
What?
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
But you got 3 claim
Lose
tickets
those.
instead.
As the train starts taking off, and a little summer rain pitter patters on the train, as the claim ticket hits the ground and gets wet and stepped on, as people are doing what they do at the train station. And that's a good place to wrap it up there.
You got a 3-to-1 exchange on claim tickets.
I had totally decided if a natural 1 happened, someone would lose the claim ticket if they had claim tickets.
I knew I should have stole it from her.
Held on to it for safekeeping.
Well, really more to just screw with her, but
Did you drop this?
just to cause panic. But now I get to see the real panic.
No, it's okay because we have the servant. The servant knows.
You're just gonna have to
They'll
go.
get back with our purchasing agent. We'll get her back.
You're just gonna have to go through airport lost my luggage hell. Ooh. It's gonna be interesting.
Boy.
I mean, on the plus side, you did have some schmooze with the guards that know it's yours. You just need to prove it's yours.
Okay. Well, we can do that because we've got Johnson and we've got the older guy, and I've got Theo. In worst case, it actually is our stuff, so it shouldn't be that hard to get back. In theory.
Mm-hmm. In theory.
Works in theory.
That's awesome.
Speaking of theories, we figured out the crates weren't children, so is blowing up the train back on the table?
Oh, Jesus.
Especially if they don't let me have Cinder back. Sure, why not?
I'm sure the butler will make sure it all goes fine and verifying who we are and stuff.
Are you going to have to train heist your own cargo?
Yeah, the question is, when does she discover that it's missing?
Oh, I'm sure pretty spot on when I got back to the room. And then I'm livid.
That's a good point. You know she's going to blame them for picking her pocket, I bet.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's awesome.
I'm going to blame that poor sweet couple. That's who I'm going to think took it.
I told you they were trouble. Told you. Didn't want to listen to me.
Good job, guys.
Too cruel.
And thankfully, your train will be there lickety split in the next 6 days. You'll be back in the 5
6 days.
6 days.
Okay. Well, that's not going to go well because 6 days they're obviously going to discover they're missing 3 tickets.
Are you afraid of a fight, Callus?
I'd prefer to have a little better option or control of my environment. Being stuck on a train with a bunch of guards and stuff like that, it's not the best of a fighting circumstance.
We have Boom and Theo. That's all.
Just because you can't fight from the rooftop across the street doesn't mean you can't fight.
It's not that I can't, but it's definitely not. And then, we're still got a ways to go to get home. So shit breaks down, the train derails or whatever. Then we got to hoof it back home.
All of a sudden, you're now doing a cross-country trip.
Yeah.
It's planes, trains, and we didn't steal no automobiles.
Theo's probably got another summer cottage somewhere near here.
Yeah. Just like to select slightly better options for shenanigans.
I mean, the best part is going to be when you hit the border and have to show your identification. Remember, this is an international train ride.
I don't think I brought my identification with me. Although we had to show something to get on the train, so maybe I do have something.
Yeah.
Here are my forged pirates.
Extraordinary.
Here are my forged papers. My name clearly is Trollkin, not a pirate.
Exactly.
Don't mind the earrings and hat.
Obviously,
and
pirates aren't anywhere that there aren't water. We learned that from John.
Yeah, you wouldn't find a pirate on land. Not in a train. Who heard of train pirates?
You'll be the best pirate ever. You have stolen a train and drove it to the sea.
Jesus. Thanks,
I have a new goal in life.
Thanks, Jim. Hard enough keeping her in line without putting ideas in his head.
That's might be better than an airship.
It's an airship for a
We can
few
make it happen.
seconds.
Yeah. Where we're going, we don't need rails.
The bard has literally gone off the rails.
Yes. His little pea troll brain.
It's all skull,
Wow.
little brain.
Okay, walnut size, maybe.
No, I've actually got pretty decent intelligence. I just have no wisdom.
Aw.
Ditto.
It just comes in one. It just comes in one ear and goes out the other.
Exactly.
You make smart choices, but not wise choices.
Yeah.
The smart choice is you buy the top shelf liquor.
Yeah, but I can't really say much because my wisdom is -1, so
Yeah.
I'm an 8.
You make all the bad choices, including signing up with this crew.
So
well,
Theo is the wise one of the group? The one who spends time juggling chemicals? Has the wisdom?
I don't consider myself wise.
so that was everybody's dumpster.
But
And that's why you made sure your passive perception was so high.
Okay.
If not, nobody was gonna see shit.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Oh
Thank you
my
so much,
gosh.
Jim.
You're
That was
welcome,
a lot of
guys.
fun.
That was lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
Interesting
I'm glad
choices
you survived the
y'all are
fires.
making. That's all I'm gonna say. Interesting choices.
You think? I should put on my character somewhere. 3 claim tickets.
Yep, 3 claim tickets.
Yeah. Got
And you got some
3
pocket.
I'm going to
tickets
let you
to
guys go
paradise.
because I'm running to a birthday lunch.
Oh, well, have a good
Happy
birthday
birthday.
because it is your
Enjoy.
birthday
Thank
weekend.
you.
It counts all weekend.
Yes, that's the plan. Thank y'all guys so much. I always have so much fun.
Aw, well, thank you for gaming with us.
many happy birthday.
Absolutely. Thank
Bye,
you.
y'all.
Bye.
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 Later, guys.
Later.
Later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to D&D Journey of the 5th Edition, a member of the Creative Play and Podcast Network. Please follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/CPPN to never miss a show or stream.